The fall, a period of transition. It's back to school. Football returns. Oktoberfest celebrations. The weather gets a little cooler. As leaves fall, it symbolizes harvest, abundance, Christmas and Thanksgiving just around the corner. Also a time for reflection. Nature shows us how to let go of the old and make way for new beginnings and growth. In this video, we'll take you to 20 destinations across 11 different states, showing quaint towns, hiking trails, rail bikes, trains, and 8 of the most scenic roads in the East. Unlike other Fall Colors videos, we'll not only show 5 New England states, but also 5 states in the Southeast, Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley, the Blue Ridge Mountains of North and South Carolina, Georgia, and the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. We'll start in the Southeast, then show the New England states, as well as a couple of Great Lakes states, then end back in the Southeast. We also have more in-depth videos of all these areas. Our name is Tampa Aerial Media. While we film mostly in Florida and the Bahamas in the winter and spring, we film across the USA in the summer and fall. Subscribe and drop a like to see all that. Have a new Florida Keys series coming in November and the Bahamas in January. Always appreciate your comments, your super chats, and we upload raw footage for channel members. So grab a pumpkin latte.
America runs on Duncan.
Come with us as we show you some of the best fall getaways in the eastern U.S. I will give you tips of when the peak colors happen for each region from my experience, but also wanted to point out you can go to explorefall.com where there's an interactive map and you can see current conditions as well as click on an area to see the estimated peak color date. First, we'll show the 8 most scenic roads. We start in Front Royal, Virginia, located 90 minutes from Washington, D.C. This is the northern end of Skyline Drive. This is a 105-mile scenic road along the crest of the Blue Ridge Mountains. It is the only road through the Shenandoah National Park. It is $30 to enter, and that is good for 7 days. Or you can purchase the America the Beautiful Pass, which is $80 and gives you entrances into most national parks for a year. While you can do this drive in 3 to 4 hours, you really want a full day to allow for stops. And unlike Smoky Mountain National Park, dogs are allowed on most of the trails of both Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway. The speed limit is 35 miles per hour. You get great views of the Shenandoah Valley. There are many pull-off overlooks, waysides, with trails and picnic areas, like the Stony Mountain Trail. The southern terminus of Skyline Drive is at Rockfish Gap in Waynesboro, Virginia, and this is the northern entrance to the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is more than 4 times longer than Skyline Drive. At 469 miles long, it's the longest linear park in the U.S., and this drive is absolutely free. Whereas Skyline Drive mostly runs along the ridges of the mountains, the Blue Ridge Parkway, you'll do a little more climbing coming down the sides of the mountains, coming much closer to cities like Asheville. It continues across southern Virginia and into North Carolina. The peak colors for both Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway is about the 2nd and 3rd week of October, and when you get to the southern parts of the Blue Ridge Parkway, maybe mid to late October. It ends in Cherokee, North Carolina, which we did a video of a couple of years ago. Actually ends right at Newfound Gap Rd, which is another of our most scenic roads you have to do. This runs from Gatlinburg, Tennessee to Cherokee through the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. The more colorful side is going to be on the Tennessee side. And if you want to do any of the trails, you have to come early to get a parking spot. There is a $5 per day or $15 per week parking fee. Now generally, the further south the later the peak colors. So in the Great Smoky Mountains, it is mid-October to early November. However, here you have higher elevations. So at those higher elevations, you are looking at the second and third week of October. Now, as of the editing of this video, the best parts of Newfound Gap Road are temporarily closed on the Tennessee side due to a landslide from heavy rains. Our friends, the Smoky Mountain family, did a video of this. They do expect it back open for the fall colors. Our next road is Route 100 in Vermont. I'd say Vermont and New Hampshire probably have the most impressive fall colors. Route 100 is the state's longest and most well-known scenic drive, often called Vermont's Main Street, because you will travel through several small towns. It starts in southern Vermont at the Massachusetts border and ends in Newport, not far from the Canadian border. Now in Vermont, your peak colors start as early as mid-September to mid-October. I have found that it can really vary here from year to year. Our next road is what many would say is the most scenic road in the U.S., the Kancamagus Highway, New Hampshire Route 112. It is 34 miles, runs from Lincoln to Conway, New Hampshire. There are so many great areas to pull off, with waterfalls, the Swift River, several trails. We show about 12 stops in our recent New Hampshire video. I have filmed this twice, and both times have been around October 7th and 8th. Both years, it was a perfect time, so I'd say the first or second week of October for peak colors.
It's a long and winding road.
Next is New Hampshire State Route 16, the longest state highway in New Hampshire. It connects the Seacoast region to the Lakes region. It travels through the Pinkham Notch and Presidential Range on the east side of Mount Washington and the White Mountains. Now how about enjoying some lobster on your Fall Colors Drive? Well, there's US 1, which runs from Maine all the way down to the Florida Keys, which we'll see in November. But for the fall colors, the part in Maine is the most beautiful, specifically from about Bar Harbor to Portland. It passes by gorgeous harbor towns like Rockport, Belfast, Camden, Damariscotta, the oyster capital of Maine. There's a pumpkin fest and regatta here, the second weekend of October, with street performers, a parade, something that is worth checking out. And further south is Bath, Maine, a gorgeous, colorful town on the Kennebec River. It looks like it could be the setting of a Hallmark movie. This is also a great town for Christmas. There's the Linwood Temple Waterfront Park next to Oyster's Raw Bar. It overlooks the Sagadahoc Bridge. And 12 miles south of Bath in Wiscasset, don't forget one of the best roadside eateries on Route 1 is Sprague's Lobster. And finally, there's the Mohawk Trail. This is in northwestern Massachusetts, although we showed it at the beginning of our Vermont video. It travels 75 miles from the Connecticut River Valley at Miller's Falls to the New York border. There's over 100 attractions, country inns, gift shops, public and private camping areas. If you are coming from Boston planning a trip to Vermont, this is a great road to travel on your way.
It's a long and winding road.
Alright, let's show you 20 great places for the fall colors.
About 500 yards away in this very body of water, 3 British warships lie at anchor. No need to look for them, just trust me, they're there.
Let's start in Massachusetts. For those of you who are flying for your Fall Colors trip, Boston is a great gateway city, as it is within a 2 to 3 hour drive of many New England destinations. But it is also a great place to visit as well, especially in September or October. In September, you can catch a game at Fenway Park. Now, I recommend doing as little driving as possible in Boston, unless you love the extra adrenaline rush. But they do have an excellent subway system, makes it easy to get around. You can get a Boston City Pass that is $79 for adults, $69 for children 3 to 11. That includes 4 attractions, like the View Boston Observation Deck at the top of the Prudential Center, or take a Boston Harbor cruise. Now, the best color is going to be on the west end, specifically the Charles River Esplanade. Now, the peak colors for Boston is around the 3rd week of October. Tends to be a little later than other New England spots. We did a whole video of Boston for more things to do here.
Follow me, good people, for the afternoon report for Salem town.
Second on our list, just a 45-minute drive north of Boston, is Salem, made famous for the witch trials of 1692.
You good people know I am not a witch.
With its pedestrian-friendly Essex Street Mall, this is a pretty lively place in October.
That's too funny.
Number 3, a 90-minute drive south of Boston, is Newport, Rhode Island. This is one of the best places for boat tours, which usually runs till the end of October. We did a video here and showed 3 boat tours, including the Adirondack II schooner. This town has a colonial-era setting, a very lively atmosphere with entertainment and great seafood on Bowen's Wharf and Bannister Wharf. Also, another must-do is the Cliff Walk, a 3.5-mile walk along the cliff of crashing ocean waves on one side and beautiful Gilded Age mansions on the other side. Fourth on our list, back in Massachusetts, is Lexington and Concord, where the first shots of the Revolutionary War were fired. There's the Minuteman Bikeway, a 10-mile pedestrian path that connects with the suburbs of Boston. And for driving, Route 2A, also known as the Battle Road Scenic Byway, passes through Minuteman National Park, where buildings from the 1700s still remain. Number 5 is Woodstock, Vermont. There's many towns in Vermont I could name, but Woodstock is one of the most beautiful, gorgeous vintage buildings surrounding a central square known as the Green. There's multiple covered bridges in this area, including the Taftsville Bridge and waterfall. You want a great little gorgeous drive? Take Old River Road from the Taftsville Bridge. It runs for 3 miles along the Ottauquechee River. Ends at the Billings Farm and Museum with interactive exhibits and demos. So many places in Vermont, seemingly right out of a Thomas Kincaid painting. Some other great Vermont towns are Stowe, Middlebury, Brattleboro, Bennington, and the capital of Montpelier. We head to what is known as the Northeast Kingdom, part of Vermont, where instead of small, quaint towns, you see some of the state's most scenic and undisturbed lands. Number 6 on our list, Lake Willoughby, just 30 minutes from the Canadian border. This is Vermont's deepest lake, surrounded by the steep mountains of Pisgah and Hoare, which provide great hiking and boating in the summer. The sides of the mountains really flare up in the fall with striking color. For our next 2 towns, we head to the Lake Winnipesaukee region of New Hampshire. Our 7th town on the northwestern part of the lake is Meredith. There's many vacation rentals here you can find on Vrbo. There's a nice long boardwalk that stretches along the lakeside with a park area and picnic pavilion. Also, the Laverack Nature Trail with a 0.6 of a mile boardwalk through wetlands. And there's the Winnipesaukee Spirit Cocktail Hour cruise you can take from Meredith, or the larger Mount Washington cruise that departs from Weirs Beach, 6 minutes south of Meredith. And they also have sunset and Sunday brunch cruises. And you have the Winnipesaukee Railroad you can take for a ride down the lake to Weirs Beach in Laconia, New Hampshire. For our 8th destination, we jump to the southeast side of Lake Winnipesaukee. Just a 2-hour drive from Boston is Wolfeboro. This is known as America's oldest summer resort because New Hampshire's colonial governor established his resort here a decade before the Revolutionary War. This is another pedestrian-friendly, quaint town with a village atmosphere, with shops and eateries along Railroad Street, and the historic Wolfeboro Railroad Depot, which is a visitor center. There's the Colton Valley Rail Trail, a 12-mile bike pedestrian path to see all the fall foliage. And there's town docks with several eateries overlooking Lake Winnipesaukee, one of the best places for a sunset over the lake. Our next three towns are in the White Mountains region of New Hampshire. Number 9 on our list is Lincoln, located on the Pemigewasset River, the western end of the Kancamagus Highway. One of the best things to do here is a scenic trip on the Granite State Railroad. It's the same company that does the trips in Meredith and Wears Beach. You go through the colorful foliage of the Pemigewasset River Valley, crossing multiple vintage bridges. Also in this area, you might want to check out the Flume Gorge and the Basin in Franconia Notch National Park, and also the Cannon Mountain Tramway just north of Lincoln. Number 10 is on the other end of the Kancamagus Highway, is North Conway. Here the Swift River flows into the Saco River. The Saco River Valley is stunningly beautiful. You can also take a train excursion here with the Conway Scenic Railroad. You'll find gorgeous fall foliage at Echo Lake State Park along with Cathedral Edge, which you can drive up to for a great view of the Saco River Valley. North Conway also has a nice village-style downtown area. Be aware for lodging though. This is probably the most expensive place to stay in New England because it is so popular. So therefore, you might want to lodge in Bethlehem, which is number 11 on our list. This is a scenic 1-hour drive north on US 302, which maybe should have been on our scenic drives list as well. Bethlehem is not nearly as crowded as Conway and is more remote. You'll find several quaint bed and breakfasts like the Wayside Inn here. For our final New Hampshire city, number 12 on our list is Portsmouth on the seacoast of New Hampshire. Here it's like stepping back in time 350 years to the colonial period. There's several waterfront restaurants along Bow Street and a nice pedestrian-friendly market area. In the Puddle Dock area, it is one of the original settlements of Portsmouth, the oldest neighborhood of New Hampshire. At Strawberry Bank Museum, you can explore these houses and landscapes with costume role players. Now, before we head back to the south, I want to show a couple of places in the Great Lakes region in Wisconsin. Number 13 on our list is Door County, on the shores of Lake Michigan and Green Bay. Now, we filmed this in the summer. See our video here. However, this is one of the best fall colors getaway. It has multiple lighthouses, several great parks like Peninsula State Park. Peak colors are the second and third week of October. Door County is famous for their fish boils. You'll find the people here very friendly. I found too that if you wear a cheese head, they will be even more friendlier.
Fire!
And just northeast of Door County, we head to just below the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And number 14 is Mackinac Island, Michigan. You have to take a ferry to get to this island. There's no motorized vehicles allowed here. There's an 8-mile scenic bike path around the perimeter of the island. I also filmed this in the summer. Now, being this is a little further north, it gets a little chilly, and the fall colors start earlier in the last week of September to the second week of October. All right, let's head back to the south for our final 6 destinations. Number 15 on our list is Blue Ridge, Georgia. There's nothing like exploring the fall foliage on a rail bike with the Blue Ridge Scenic Railway. It is $65 for adults, $55 for children 4 through 12 for a 90-minute tour. And they also have train excursions as well. Now, I did this at the end of October and was probably a week past peak color. So this last year, peak color was the third week of October. Blue Ridge, Georgia is great for hiking with several scenic trails. As well as wineries, breweries, and farms where you can pick apples and other fruits. And you can even drive a tank over a car here for something really unique. See our Blue Ridge, Georgia video for all the things to do here. We now head an hour east of Blue Ridge to our 16th destination, Helen, Georgia. This is a unique Bavarian mountain town. Lots of fun in the fall with Oktoberfest. Actually starts the first weekend of September and lasts to the final weekend in October. Helen might be number one in my recommendations. It's not only the entertainment, but also the nature surrounding Helen.
I can see you.
A 20-minute drive to the south, you have the North Florida Animal Safari with both a drive-through and a walk-through area to see the animals.
Yo, how you doing?
And great fall foliage here too. And there's Unicoi State Park with trails and waterfalls, and nearby Anaruby Falls here. Some of the best fall colors. I filmed this the 29th of October, and the forest was just popping, with the leaves falling. Just incredible. A 45-minute drive east of Helen is our 17th destination, Tallulah Falls, Georgia. Here is Tallulah Gorge State Park, which is one of the deepest gorges in the eastern U.S., with beautiful waterfalls, and it's only $5 to enter. Has a nice little history museum of the falls and dam here. There's a suspension bridge that takes you across the gorge, and trails on both sides of the gorge. There are steps that will take you all the way down to the bottom of the waterfalls. This will give you a little bit of a cardio workout too. There is also a good RV campground with spacious sites at the state park in the middle of the colorful foliage and clean facilities, showers and restrooms. And across the highway from the gorge is Tallulah 1882. It's a coffee and tea house and a former railroad depot with baked goods and light bites. And there's a vintage general store over a century-year-old here. You can enjoy some ice cream. And if you don't mind dealing with a little traffic, number 18 on our list is Atlanta. Despite being a busy metro area, it has the largest tree covering of any major city in the U.S., so it's beautiful in the fall. We did a full video a couple of years ago, but wanted to point out a couple of areas. Atlanta has many great bike trails, including the Beltline Trail. When completed in 2030, will be a 22-mile multi-use trail around the city. About 15 miles are already complete. You'll find great little eateries and breweries along the way, including the Ponce City Market.
Here's the good friend.
Good friend, cheers.
Yeah.
There's also Stone Mountain, about 20 minutes east of Atlanta. Features lots of activities, a scenic railroad, a sky ride up to the mountain, and regular festivals and events, including the Pumpkin Festival in the fall. Runs from mid-September to the 1st of November. A 2-hour drive northeast of Atlanta is another great city in the fall, Greenville, South Carolina. A very walkable and gorgeous downtown with Falls Park, a large green space with the Reedy River and waterfalls, surrounded by a revitalized Main Street. The Swamp Rabbit Trail is a 28-mile multi-use trail that travels along the river. And within an hour's drive, you have multiple state parks, like Paris Mountain here, one of the most colorful parks you'll find. And it's only $6 for adults, or $3.50 for children 6 to 15.
7, 8.
There's also Table Rock State Park at the edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And if you want to see one of the best sunrises, check out the Fred Sims Chapel. located near the South Carolina-North Carolina border. It's part of the YMCA, but is open to the public. Now, we head back over the Smoky Mountains for our final city. Number 20 is Knoxville, Tennessee. One of Bailey's favorite spots, as she is a Rocky Top dog, being born in nearby Pigeon Forge. This city is electric in the fall during football season. In the center of downtown is Market Square, where you'll find street performers and lots of great eateries. There's boat tours you can take on the Tennessee River. And maybe during a home game, go to Neyland Stadium just for the pregame and watch the Southland Band play Rocky Top. So many great nature areas around Knoxville. Being a college town, there's plenty of good bike trails to enjoy the fall foliage. Or High Ground Park on top of a hill that has an overlook over the city. And the Imes Nature Center, located on the Tennessee River. And also there's Boo at the Zoo, at the Knoxville Zoo, very popular in October. And of course, you have nearby Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, which we have done many recent videos of. So, I hope I've given you some great ideas for a fall getaway. Let me know which areas are your favorites, and maybe other places I didn't mention. What places would you like to see covered in future videos? You see me traveling with this Kurgle dog backpack. Makes it so convenient to travel with a dog, to be able to bring her to places where she otherwise would not be able to go. I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and for all of your support. I really appreciate it. And now it's time to enjoy some pumpkin pie. As we leave you with some scenes of the Appalachian Trail in Georgia, I wish blessings to you wherever you may be.
Time goes on and seasons change. It's these moments that remain. It's a long, 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 long and winding road. It's a long